At the height of his fame, Jason Priestley almost died in a crash at nearly 180 miles per hour. And it didn't happen on a movie set. It happened on a racetrack. What makes that moment even more surprising is that most people watching him every week had no idea this part of his life even existed. Because while he was starring in Beverly Hills 90210, he was also building something completely separate, something fast, something dangerous, something that would eventually catch up with him. And at the time, even some of the people working around him didn't realize how serious it had become. If you enjoy stories like this, consider subscribing to Backtrack Television, because some of the most interesting parts of these stories happened far away from the camera. If you watched TV in the 90s, you remember Brandon Walsh. Steady, measured, the kind of character who thought things through before acting. But the person playing him was drawn to something very different, because long before the crash, racing was already part of his life. He didn't discover it later, it was always there. What changed was the ability to take it seriously. Fame gave him access to cars, to tracks, to competition. And once he stepped into that world, it clicked. In his 2014 memoir, Jason Priestley, a memoir, he described it like this: "When I was in the car, everything else disappeared. It was total focus. No distractions, just timing, control, and consequence. And that feeling is addictive, because it narrows everything down to a single moment. What made it risky was when he chose to pursue it." He didn't wait until his acting career slowed down. He did it while filming Beverly Hills 90210. Weekdays were structured: cameras, scripts, lighting cues. Weekends were different: engines roaring, tires gripping the edge of control, split-second decisions. He started with events like the Toyota Pro Celebrity Race, but that wasn't the goal. That was the introduction, because once he got comfortable, he moved into something more serious: open-wheel racing. Cars built low to the ground, almost skimming the surface, with exposed tires and bodies designed for speed, not safety. Machines that don't forgive hesitation, covered in sponsor logos, tuned for performance, and the margin for error? Almost nothing. People around him noticed. Producers worried, because if something went wrong, it wouldn't just affect him. It would affect the entire show. Schedules, budgets, hundreds of people. Behind the scenes, not everyone saw this as admirable. Some saw discipline. Others saw unnecessary risk. But from his perspective, this wasn't reckless. This was something he was building. And by 2002, he was competing in the Indy Pro Series. Not celebrity racing, real competition. Drivers trying to move up, trying to prove themselves. And he had to do the same. He wasn't leading the field, but he wasn't out of place. He qualified mid-pack, which meant every race he was surrounded. Cars inches away, air shifting unpredictably, no clean space. At tracks like Texas and Phoenix, he finished races. Not podium finishes, but finishes. And that matters, because in racing, a lot of drivers don't. Mechanical failures, spins, contact, and every time he stayed in, his confidence grew. He started pushing harder, braking a fraction later, holding speed a fraction longer. At one race earlier that season, coming out of a turn, the rear stepped out. Just for a moment. The kind of moment most people wouldn't even notice. But he did. He corrected, caught it, kept going. The kind of save that makes you feel in control, even when you're not. And that's the shift. Because once you believe you can handle it, you start going closer to the edge. Then came Kentucky Speedway, a 1.5-mile oval, fast, wide, deceptively smooth. The kind of track where speed builds quietly until you're carrying more than you realize. That day, conditions were clean. Dry track, clear visibility, nothing obvious to blame. The stands weren't packed, but there were still thousands watching. Engines echoing across the track like distant thunder, a constant wave of sound pressing against the air. Lap after lap, everything felt stable, predictable, controlled, until it didn't. At speed, the rear of the car stepped out, just slightly. You feel it before you see it. He corrected, quick, instinctive, but the car didn't settle. Now it's moving, sideways. The tires lose grip, A sharp, high-pitched scrape cutting through the engine noise, then a split second of silence. And in that moment, he knows this isn't a save. He countersteers, tries to bring it back, but the grip is gone. The car snaps hard. The wall is there. No runoff, no space, just impact. Violent, immediate. The car crumples like a collapsing frame, absorbing energy that has nowhere else to go. Metal bends, parts break, everything stops. Instantly. Track medics reached him within seconds, because at that speed, they don't wait. Spinal injuries follow a different set of rules. Stabilize, don't rush, don't risk movement. He was extracted carefully, then airlifted. He was taken by helicopter to a nearby hospital, and at that point, everything slowed down. Not on the track, but in waiting rooms. Doctors moved quickly, scans, evaluations, decisions that had to be made without hesitation. The extent of the damage wasn't immediately clear. Spinal injuries at that speed carry a different kind of weight, because you're not just asking if someone will recover, you're asking how much they'll recover. Surgery followed, stabilizing the spine, reducing the risk of further damage. And for the people close to him, this was the part they couldn't control. Waiting for updates, trying to understand what the next hours would bring. Because in moments like that, everything else fades out. The show, the career, the racing, none of it matters. Just whether he's going to be okay. The injuries were severe. A fractured spine, broken feet, a head injury, and for a moment, there was real uncertainty about what recovery would look like. Later, he would say it simply, "I was lucky to be alive." As the news spread, the story moved fast, not through racing circles first, but through entertainment media, because most people didn't know this version of him existed. They knew Brandon Walsh. They knew the calm, controlled version. So when headlines started describing a high-speed crash, it didn't immediately connect. It felt out of place, like two different lives colliding. There were updates coming in pieces, initial reports, injury details, speculation about recovery. And in between all of that, a shift in how people saw him, not just as an actor, but as someone who had stepped into a world where consequences were immediate and very real. Recovery didn't happen quickly. It couldn't. He couldn't walk. A titanium rod was placed in his spine. Every movement had to be relearned. There's a point in recovery where progress stops feeling like progress, where the smallest movement takes effort, and the distance between where you are and where you were feels impossible to close. For someone used to control, hitting marks, hitting timing, holding a racing line, this was different. There was no precision, no immediate feedback, just slow improvement, measured in inches instead of seconds. And that shift changes how you think, because the question isn't how fast you can go anymore, it's whether you'll get back at all. Step by step. And for the first time in years, he wasn't in control of how things played out. Because racing is about control, acting is about control, but recovery isn't. It's slow, unpredictable, uncertain. And over time, his life began to shift. He moved more behind the camera, directing, producing, still working, still creating, but differently. He didn't completely walk away from racing, but he never chased it the same way again. Because now, he understood exactly what it could take. When people look back at Beverly Hills 90210, they remember the character, the calm, the control. But behind that image was someone pushing toward the opposite: speed, precision, the edge of control. And in one moment, on a stretch of asphalt in Kentucky, he found the limit, at nearly 180 miles per hour. But this wasn't the only moment in television history where one decision changed everything for a single actor. There are other stories where what happened off-screen completely reshaped a career. And one of them is even more unexpected than this. If you think this story took a turn, wait until you see what happened next. Click the video on your screen now. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like the video. It helps more people find it. And if you grew up watching 90210, subscribe to Backtrack Television for more deep dive stories like this. And I want to hear from you. Did you know he was racing at this level? Or did this completely surprise you? Let me know in the comments.